What's going on, guys? My name's Ethan Taylor with Downtime Outdoors. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you wanting to learn how to film your hunts, whether you be self-filming or filming for a buddy. Hopefully I can tell you something that's going to help you out. So go ahead and tell you first off, filming your hunts can be some of the most frustrating things. Even if you're not filming hunts, like I'm filming this video for my YouTube. I filmed 16 minutes of this worth of talking just a second ago, and I was almost done, and it just clicked in my head that I never cut my external microphone on. So here I am redoing it. Give you one more example of how it's going to be frustrating. The first hunt that I ever filmed, going on almost 4 years ago now, or we're starting our 4th season now, so about 3 years ago. I was hunting opening day here in Mississippi, and about an hour and a half before dark, 2 of my shooter bucks come in together. They're coming in at about 45 yards. I've got one hole to shoot them through, and I get the camera arm over to them, and my camera arm was not mounted fully level. And I picked up my bow and went to draw back, and I saw my camera arm starting to lean a little bit. So I pushed it back a little bit farther than I needed it so it would lean into it, and I pulled my bow back, and they slipped through the hole before I could get a shot off. So it's definitely going to be frustrating at some point. At some point in filming hunts, if you film long enough, you're going to tell somebody, man, if I hadn't have been filming, I would have killed that deer, or I wouldn't have gotten busted, or this would have happened, or that would have happened. I promise you it's going to happen at some point. So let's get into what you need to do to film your hunt. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what kind of videos are you wanting to make? Are you just wanting to film these hunts and go back and watch the video with no editing? Or are you wanting to edit them just enough to make a full-length video so you can show your friends and your family? Or are you wanting to go on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media you want to post them on? You need to know what you're going to do with these videos. So first thing you're going to need is a camera. This camera was my first camera that I used. It is a Canon Vixia R800. It's got a 57 times advanced zoom. It's very small, easy to carry with you in and out of the woods. It's very simple to use. That's a pro and a con, depending on how you want your videos to turn out. But if you've never filmed before, you definitely need to start with something simple, because it's like I said earlier, it's frustrating trying to film while you're in the woods and you've got deer around you and you're trying not to move, but you're trying to get everything on video. It's frustrating. So this camera, flip open, it's dead right now, but when you flip this open, it's going to come on this specific camera. You've got your SD card there, your little plugins here, you've got microphone, AV out, which is your headphones, and HDMI out, and a USB plug. Then you got your battery on the back here. It's a very simple camera to use. You've got your zoom on the top here and your record button right there. Not a lot of settings that you can do on this camera. It has a few presets that you can put on it, but there's not a ton. It's very simple. Let's talk about price on this. I think I paid $150 for this, but I bought it off eBay used, but it was like brand new when I bought it. Now brand new, I think these are about $200. Not for sure, but I'm going to post a link to everything that I show you in this video in the description below. So you've got your camera now. Before we move on real quick, let's talk about the quality of this camera. So this camera does not do great in low lighting at all. Once it starts getting dark, your video is going to get grainy, and then it's going to get too dark to see. The quality of the video is pretty decent. Now this camera's not shooting in 4K, but it does do good quality. Again, you're getting what you pay for here in cameras, especially with camcorders. But I would buy this camera again if I was trying to teach somebody how to film, or was recommending this to a camera, which I'm recommending this one to you. This is the camera I'd go with if I was starting out filming again. So you've got your camera. Get my notes out here real quick. You've got your camera. While we're still talking on the camera subject, get you some extra batteries, because you never know when it's going to be really cold and your battery's going to die, or you forget to charge it, or whatever. A battery could go bad. Have extra batteries. Have extra SD cards. You never know when a card's going to be full and you forgot, or when one's going to mess up. You just make sure you have extra batteries and extra SD cards with you. So the next thing I'm going to recommend you getting is a tripod. This tripod is a Amazon Basics. If you're hunting out of a shooting house or a ground blind or on the ground, that's what you're going to need to put your camera on. That way you can hold it steady, and if you're self-filming, you can't shoot and hold the camera at the same time. So you're going to need a tripod. If you were hunting out of a lock-on or a climber or a ladder stand, you are going to need a camera arm. This is a Muddy camera arm. It is the smaller of the two. I believe it was around 50 bucks, but I'm not sure. It ratchet straps onto the tree. Now there's different kinds of camera arms out there. You get whichever one you think fits you best or your price range. These are a little bit more expensive than I was expecting them to be. I know the bigger one for that, I think it's like $100 or $150 on the Muddy, I think. Now this would normally have Muddy here, but a little tip that I learned on YouTube, wrap it in athletic tape, because these are aluminum or metal or whatever they're made out of, and they clink together. So when you're in the woods in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever it is, and you're trying to be quiet and you're getting that out of your backpack and it's just clinking together, it's going to scare all your deer off. So that's one way to reduce noise, carrying that in and out. So you're going to need the tripod, in my opinion, either way. For filming, like if you do like a final interview, once you've recovered your animal, you're going to need that tripod. Which, if you're not looking to do that type of stuff, you're just wanting to film your kill shot, you know, film some of the deer out there, and you only hunt out of lock-ons or climbers or ladder stands, this camera arm is all you need. So next, you've got all your camera stuff that you're going to need to start out. You need a backpack. Definitely need a backpack to carry all this in and out. You can start with a small backpack. I started out with a backpack from Walmart that was like 12 bucks. Last year I bought this bigger backpack from Academy. I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks. Definitely recommend getting a big backpack so you can carry extra stuff. You want to have room for your batteries, be able to put your camera and your tripod and your camera arm in there, your camera, whatever stuff you want, stuff you carry with you hunting, you want to have room for that. So the next thing, I also bought this my first year. This is not a necessity again, but this is a camera light. It has the mount to mount on the top of your camera if your camera has the option. This camera light, I paid 30 bucks for it on Amazon. This exact camera is no longer on Amazon, but there's some similar to it. I will post one, I will put a link to one that's similar to it in the description. This, I'll show you this real quick. It has a dial right here that adjusts the brightness and a rechargeable battery right there. I use this for looking for deer, but you're doing your final interview, this is so much better than a flashlight. It distributes the light onto you and the animal and your surrounding a whole lot better than a circular flashlight's going to do. So in my opinion, get you one of these two if you're not on an extremely tight budget. If you want to get into a second angle camera while you're hunting, a GoPro is a great option. Now this is the GoPro Hero Black 7, GoPro Black 7, whatever they call it. I think I paid $350 for this 2 years ago, so I mean if you get a new one it's going to be more expensive. This shoots in 4K. It comes with a couple different attachments for it. This is one I use the most to clamp. You clamp it on a tree limb, your camera arm, wherever. Face it towards you. You can make a hat mount, a headband. You can put on your gun, your bow, whatever, for a first person point of view. I use this a lot when we are waterfowl hunting for first person points of view. Again, not a necessity, just another option for you. One more option before we go on to the other two cameras. So this is a handheld voice recorder. I don't know if it'll focus on that or not, but this is the Zoom H1n handy recorder. I've only used this a handful of times, but when I've needed it, it has saved the quality of my video so much. One specific time, the wind was blowing extremely hard. I wasn't using an external microphone yet, and I used this to put behind my knee, and my knee blocked the wind. And the only reason that I had audio of that final interview was because of this handheld recorder. Again, not a necessity, but it can be helpful in situations like you and your buddy are hunting, you climbed up in two different trees, you're too far for the camera to really pick up the other guy's audio. You stick this on him. I've got this microphone that plugs into it. You can run up your shirt, clip it on your collar, wherever, and you hit record and you just line the audios up. It is, I want to say this was around $100. So I mean, this is a little bit more expensive. If you really want to get into the better quality, like you're wanting to make YouTube videos, this is something I would recommend getting. Like I said, I haven't used it a lot. You might use it a lot, I don't know, but something to think about getting. So next we're going to go into my other cameras. I've got to switch cameras real quick. Actually, no I don't, not yet. So I started using this camera my second year I was filming. This is a Sony A6000. Brand new. This was $750. It comes with the zoom lens and your smaller lens. I don't know what, can't remember what millimeter it is. This camera is a whole lot more hands-on. It's a whole lot more difficult to self-film with this type of camera because there's so many options and so many things that you can adjust while you're filming. That's really great if you have the experience and knowledge to do so, but again, when you're out in the woods, you've got deer around you, it can become a hassle. Now I carry this camera with me at all times. I still use it to film some. I take all of our pictures with this camera on top of using my iPhone sometimes. But if you have the knowledge to use one, this is a good camera. Not necessarily the knowledge, the experience. I mean, you need the knowledge too, but the experience is really what comes into play with this, how much you've used it and how familiar you are with the camera. The lens is really what makes these type of cameras, and they can get pretty expensive, the lenses do, but that's where your quality is going to come in with these cameras. So the next camera, I've got to switch this camera to that to show you. The video you're watching now, all the way up to now, has been filmed with my Canon Vixia G20. And now the video that you're about to see is going to be filmed with this Sony A6000. So I'm about to swap them out real quick. Real quick on the Sony A6000, as you can see, that's what the video you're seeing now is from the Sony A6000. Also, the audio you're hearing is now from the Sony A6000. The video you've watched before has been with the Canon Vixia G20 with a external microphone with a muff on it. But on that Sony A6000, as you can see, the quality is a little bit lower. It's starting to get dark here. You can tell it's probably a little pixelated. Again, the lens really plays into the quality of those cameras. I have the basic lens that comes with it because I only filmed with it for a year because I like the hands-on, but not as much as those are. I don't have enough experience with them to be as confident as I am with the camcorders. But enough about that camera. So now, like I said, the camera I'm using now is this Canon Vixia G20 with a Rode video mic, external microphone with a muff on it. This camera, brand new, I believe is around $1,000. Now, again, like I said, on the previous camera, I bought this, not the previous camera, the first camera, I bought this camera used too off of eBay, I believe. eBay or Amazon, I can't remember which one I got this one from. For $350. The only thing that was wrong with it was the HDMI plug-in doesn't work on it, and it needed new batteries. The batteries, they wouldn't hold a charge anymore. For me, the HDMI was not a big deal. That was not something that I was worried about. I don't use it anyways. I just take the SD card out, put it in my laptop, and go from there. This camera can be as hands-on as you want it to be. It has a lot of options, from manual focus and autofocus to, I mean, you can really get it to how you want it to. It does pretty decent in low lighting. The darker it gets and the lighter you make the video, if something moves quick, it's going to be blurry. But overall, I'm very happy with this camera. I'll probably use this camera for another 2 or 3 years probably, unless I just find one that really catches my attention. The external microphone, like I said earlier, if your camera is able to have an external microphone, get an external microphone, because if you're looking for like social media type videos and you're wanting to use the audio from being out in the woods, this is going to sound a whole lot better. It's going to wind noise. If something hits the camera, it's not going to be as loud. Just video quality wise, this is what you're going to want to get. It doesn't have to be a Rode microphone, but that's what I have. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this? The zoom isn't just overly great on it, but I don't hunt. I mean, in the South, we don't have a lot of long range. I mean, the farthest I think I can see at all of my hunt spots is 400 yards, and I can film that with this. It might not be the best quality, and it's not going to be super up close for it, but for what I need, this zoom is fine. Let me get my notes out real quick one more time. I think that's all about this camera. I would recommend this one. I like it too. I really like the Canon cameras. I haven't had a Sony camcorder, but I do like the Canon, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and read a lot on the Canon versus Sony, and I prefer to go with the Canon. But you do your own research. You know, go past this video. Don't get the first camera that you see somebody recommend. Do your own research and buy one that correlates with your needs, for your wants and needs, for how you want your video to be. Okay, so we've made it this far. If you want to edit your videos and put them on social media, YouTube, whatever it is, or even just edit them enough to have one long video to show your friends and family. The first 2 years that I filmed and the first 2 years of YouTube videos that you can go back and watch on our channel was made with Video Leap on the iPhone. I paid for it during the hunting months from October to January, whenever it was. I think it was like $7. It's very basic. Once you figure out how to use it, it's fairly easy to use. It's got a decent, to be an iPhone app and to be cheap, it has pretty fair options in my opinion to edit. Like I said, I edited 2 years worth of videos on that app. Now I use Adobe Premiere, and I still haven't figured out everything on it. I've watched a couple YouTube videos, but I know everything that I want to do. And from what I understand, it's endless on that, on to how advanced you want to get on editing your videos. For me, it's a little bit more time consuming editing on Premiere Pro versus the Video Leap app, but the quality of it is so much better on the laptop on Premiere Pro. But again, all this stuff that I've talked about in this video comes down to how you want your videos to turn out and what you're going to use them for. I believe that's all I got for y'all. If y'all have any questions, comment below. Follow us on social media at Downtime Outdoors. Subscribe, like the video, and share.